everyone, we're back with another deck tech video. We're back with BRIAR. So to those who don't know, I recently won a skirmish 8-0. Didn't lose a single round all the way until the championships. I did a complete recap, a live recap on my Twitter. I will link down below to my Twitter account. Make sure that you guys follow if you want to check the round by round. In today's episode, I'll talk about the deck. This is different from the first BRIAR deck tech that I did a couple of days ago. I actually took a look at the performance that it got from Talishar, and I adjusted the deck to make sure that we would be better against the bad matchups, which are basically Bravo and Dash. Those were like the really bad matchups. So I made some changes, you guys will see. So first and foremost, let's take a look at the attacks. We have Swarming Gloomveil, Enlightened Strikes. All of these have like, conditional go-against. You have Coax a Commotion. This made me win several times, especially with Channel Mount. And then you hit them with it at the end of the chain. You get to draw a card. He draws a card, but the value of the card that you draw is much better because of the +3 of Channel Mount. So this is super underrated. I also won in a fatigue matchup against Dash. I fatigued the Dash, an aggro Dash, because I was able to gain 2 life out of 2 hits from Coax. Anyway, this is a funny story. I put in Give and Take. Really powerful card to bring in, other cards back. There was one instance where I had 1 Channel Mount already in the graveyard, hit them with Give and Take with an active Channel Mount. They blocked it, and I was able to get the other Channel Mount and put it back on top. It's just sick. I also has Go Again, so it's easy for you to activate Rosetta. More Go Again attacks, Lightning Surge and Entwine Lightnings. More Go Again attacks with Scar for a Scar and Ravenous Ravel. Non-Go Again attacks but are really good staple, 0 for 4s. You have Snatch, really powerful card. I have a 1-off Command and Conquer because I really need a popper. I was even thinking of adding more poppers, primarily because there are a couple of Prism players, and Prism can be a difficult matchup if you don't draw well or if you don't have like a popper or 2. So that's the reason why we have that one. For the non-attacks, we basically have the typical ones. Oh yeah, attacks, Autumn's Touch, blue, pitch 3, attacks for 5, which allows for you also to pitch for my favorite card in the whole deck, which is of course Channel Mount Heroic. If you guys check out the recap, this card is just so clutch. It's like auto win, especially if you draw it early. Kind of like what Staxwell, one of my favorite YouTubers, also runs BRIAR, says. So this is a really powerful card. In the finals match with Flick Flack Ira, I drew 1, turn 0, put it down, passed. And then next turn, I drew another Channel Mount. And then all the attacks were just +6. I mean, how does anyone survive against a deck that keeps on swinging for +6 on all of their 0 for 4s? I mean, I do not know who can. So that's the reason why the finals was over super fast. Force of Nature, if it goes with Channel Mount, you pretty much win. More blue pitches. This is an absolute sick card, Earthlore Surge Red. Paired with attacks such as Command and Conquer, you're hitting them for a CNC for 11. Tome of Harvest, some people do not run this. They feel that it is bad. If you are a regular BRIAR player, you know that fixing your hand is absolutely critical. And while it does not look good because it's just a blue block 2, this saved me several times, including my matchup against, I think it was against, shucks, I forgot. It was against Reinar. Yeah, I remember. So I drew a Channel Mount, put in Channel Mount, then I drew 4 non-attacks. But I had an Arsenal card and I drew 1 Tome of Harvest and 1 blue card. Casting Tome of Harvest allowed me to put the sink below at the bottom, draw 3 attacks, and then I was able to win because of that. Fixing your hand as BRIAR is absolutely important. The ability to have that fix upper is just super cool. And it's an Earth card, allows to extend Channel Mount, really good. Nimblism just works with the deck. You have a lot of 0 for 4s. Plunder Run, if you get this at the start, Arsenal at +3, super powerful, especially if it's live during a Channel Mount turn. The thing that I swapped out, I got rid of Crown of Dominion and cash-ins, went back to Sonata Arcanix. The problem with Crown of Dominion Royal Package is that it's just inconsistent. I think I was just super lucky during Worlds, wherein I was able to get value out of it multiple times. But the reality is, if you play for a long period of time, multiple rounds, there will be games wherein you do not get value at all out of Crown of Dominion because you do not even draw cash in, which means it's just a dead card, right? So not having the ability to block, not having the ability of COP or even Arcanite Skullcap, which I'll talk about in a bit, do not sleep on that headgear, you miss out on that, especially if you do not draw your cards from cash in. So that's just the sad reality. If it's an armory, if it's fun, I'll run the Royal Package. If it's serious, I'll run this one, which is more consistent. So we have 2 Sonatas. We have 1 Bramble Spark, 1 Lightning Press, 1 Gorganian Tome. This used to be Revel in Runeblood. The problem with Revel in Runeblood is, again, you need a non-attack and an attack and go again to make it work. Bramble Spark, just, put it down, fuse it with Earth, then it works. Lightning Press, just for that shock factor, and of course, Gorganian Tome. So that's pretty much like the main deck that we have. Now, you're wondering, how does this deck deliver better versus Dash and Bravo? So I'll show you the sideboard and I'll show you the equipment. The sideboard, these are the 6 cards, which are my sideboards. So you have 4 Death Reacts, 2 Sigil of Sufferings, and 2 Sink Belows, and then 2 So Tomorrows. So I'll talk about So Tomorrow first because it's easier. Works against fatigue. You're able to put in a channel mount at the bottom, so you channel mount them 8 times, 8 rounds in total, 4 times. So it's 4 times in total, 2 rounds each, yeah. So 8 rounds if you're lucky. So it's also it allows for you to also AB well if you're up against Emperor because it's another blue card. And then we get to this set. These 4 Death Reacts makes the difference when you're fighting Dash or Bravo. It makes a world of difference. I was able to. I fought. How many Dash did I fight? So I did 2 skirmishes. I did 1 skirmish where I did 6-1 into Swiss. So it was the 76-man skirmish here in Manila. So I won 6 out of 7 games, went into top 8, won my round 1 in top 8, and then I lost to a Flick Flack Ira. The same Flick Flack Ira which I beat in the second skirmish. Anyway, I beat 3 Dash on that day 1. The second skirmish, I also faced 3 Dash. I also beat them. I didn't lose to a Dash matchup with this setup. So again, being able to have the Sink Belows, the Sigil of Sufferings, if you don't draw your channel mount early, what you do is you just block them out while they have Teclo Pounder on. And then once Teclo Pounder is out, it becomes so much more manageable, and then you're either able to try to fatigue them if your life is still total, if your life total is still high, or you can try to swing back as you get more powerful cards and put them in your arsenal and all that good stuff. So these 4 really good. For the armor, you kind of have like a mini fridge, so I'll set this aside. You have the Dyadic Carapace, you have Crown of Dominion, you have Scalers, and then Grasp of Dark Knight. This is like the main set, the main armor. If you are fighting against fatigue, you put in either Iron Weave and then you put out Dyadic. This just gives so much value. It can either be a Rosetta Thorn, it can be a red Earthlore Surge. There's just so many things you can do with 2 extra resources. The secret sauce to Dash and Bravo is this. Well, more to Dash. It's Arcanite Skullcap as well. Again, if you're most likely your life will be lower than his, right? So having the ability to block 3 total is just big, especially if you pair it with the 4 Death Reacts. So this setup right here was absolutely key in letting me win all of my Dash matchups. I remember even beating a Dash, and I was just like down to 2 or 3, and they died because of the extra damage that this was able to deliver. Because they never really AB the Sigil of Suffering. So it'll block for 4, it'll deal 1, and it's just a nightmare to contend with. So man, this is a really nice card. So yeah, that setup, this setup, let me just set this aside. Let's get the, this one. So this is like my anti-dash, well, Bravo you put in COP, but this is like the anti-aggro like setup, and it works really well, and I cannot recommend it enough. I mean, it did really well for me. I won a skirmish 8-0. I did 6-1 the skirmish before that, and it's just I really feel that BRIAR is in such a really great position. So many people sleep on BRIAR. They don't think they feel that it's super inconsistent. It is if you run the Royal package, but if you're running like a mid-range CC like version of BRIAR in Blitz like this one, it works really well. So yeah, that's just the update. I got a couple of comments in the first video asking if I will continue the Royal package post Kano, post Chain, and the answer to that is no. This is the new setup. It's working really well. If you guys are looking for a deck to play in a skirmish, there's one more week for skirmish. I cannot recommend this enough. It is fun to play. it works, and I really feel it is well positioned. Just one last tip. You really need to know when the channel mount heroic is just a 4 block. So just try to get as much reps as you can in so that you know how to win without channel mount. Because the key to winning with Briar is being able to kill your opponent without using channel mount. Because if you do that, then getting channel mount is just like a bonus. So knowing when to attack, knowing when to activate your, knowing when to go for an attack to be able to trigger an embodiment of Earth over Rosetta Thorn is a key skill. Learning how to be able to leak damage as much as possible is a key skill. Having the patience to always put one card in arsenal to have, like, the basic stuff. Learn how to play that way, and I think you'll be fine. You'll do really well. Briar is a super powerful deck in Blitz today, and I cannot recommend her enough. So yeah, that's the deck tech. I hope you guys enjoyed. The link to this deck tech can be found down below. Make sure to check it out, play it on Talishar, and let me know what you guys think in the comment section. And if you have questions, just shoot them below and I'll try to answer them as much as I can. I'll be playing this one more time for one more skirmish next weekend, and then it will go to rest until the next skirmish season, if Briar is still alive. I mean, not living legend status. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is Carlo. Peace!